Hey guys, Austin here, and in today's video, I've put together player grades at the quarter mark of the season for most of the Oiler regulars on D and on forward and in net. So with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. Connor McDavid, I've given an A- so far this season. He got off to a slow start due to injury, but he looks like his old self again. Leon Draisaitl, I also give it an A-. He probably should have more goals this season. He's had a lot of good looks. He just hasn't been putting the puck in the net that we are accustomed to, but his overall game has been very solid. I'm happy with Draisaitl's performance so far. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I gave a B-. Now, nobody expects Nuge to pump out 100 points again, but his offensive game has regressed more than expected. He is on pace for just 21 goals and 67 points, which would be quite the drop-off from last season's pace that he was on. Zach Hyman, I gave an A. He's been worth every penny of his contract, and he continues to drive scoring chances and production in the top six. You can't ask for much more from a guy like Zach Hyman, especially at his cap hit. He has played phenomenal hockey. Evander Kane, I gave an A-. Now, I was kind of close to giving him an A, but I kept it at an A- because he does take a dumb penalty every game, it seems. He had a bit of a slow start to the season, but he has found his stride. He looks no worse for wear after his wrist injury last season. It's nice to see him banging bodies and shooting the puck with confidence. Love that for Evander Kane. Next up is Warren Foegele. I gave a C+. He has 8 points in 22 games, playing in mostly a bottom six role. He does generate a lot of scoring chances, but he does not have a lot of finish. His -11 is also the worst on the team. Now, plus-minus is something that I don't think is like super important when it comes to player evaluation, but it is something that I wanted to note because if you are the worst on the team, I did want to point that out. Ryan McLeod, I gave a B-, and I would have had him as an A or an A- if it didn't take him 22 games to score his first goal of the season. He has been driving possession. He plays a strong two-way game, and the offense is starting to come around now for Ryan McLeod. Very happy to see. Let's hope coming out of this 6-day break that he is able to continue to produce on that third line. Derek Ryan, I gave a B-. He does all that's asked in a depth role for Edmonton. He gives it his all every night. Hard to complain about his game. Connor Brown. Now, Connor Brown has been very disappointing. I gave Connor Brown a D-. He has 1 point in 16 games, usually playing with one of McDavid or Draisaitl on most nights. I want to be lenient because he missed a full season due to injury and rehab, but this has been a disappointing player for Edmonton. Honestly, he's going to start producing. He is around the blue paint a lot. He does throw his weight around, especially lately. But for right now, just judging him based on the quarter mark of the season, it's a D- for Brown. James Hamblin, I gave a B-. I'd like to see Hamblin get more than 6 minutes of ice time per game, but I'm happy for the kid, and he hasn't looked overwhelmed at the NHL level. It's also nice that he has a couple goals this season. It looks like he's starting to gain even more confidence since he scored his first goal in the NHL in Tampa Bay, so let's see if he continues to be a strong fourth-line center for us. Adam Erne, I gave a D-. Why did Ken Holland sign him again? Seriously, what was the point of signing Adam Erne? He literally doesn't really do anything out there. He doesn't even hit that much, but I digress. Dylan Holloway, I gave a C. It was a disappointing start to the season for Holloway, and it was made even worse by suffering a long-term injury. I love his speed and tenacity, but he does need to stay healthy and start producing. Sam Gagner, I know he's only played 10 games, but I gave him a B+. He has 3 goals in those 10 games, but he does find himself a healthy scratch most nights. I love Gags, and when he's playing, I like his overall game. The Foegele, McLeod, Gagner line is cooking. I think Gagner should remain in the lineup as a regular, and this should be our third line moving forward. They feasted, absolutely feasted on the Winnipeg Jets, so we'll see if they can keep that going. And then Matthias Janmark, I gave a D+. I'm pretty indifferent to Janmark. He doesn't really do a whole lot, but I don't notice him doing anything bad most nights. He only has 2 points in 12 games, which is not great. He's fast, I guess, and he does penalty kill. And the penalty kill has been improved lately, but yeah, I don't know. Janmark, D+. He just doesn't do anything for me. Now, let's get to the defenseman. Darnell Nurse, I've given a B. I was not a fan of the first month of the season for Nurse, but his game is showing massive improvement under Paul Coffey. I hope his play is sustainable. Cody Ceci, I've given a B+. Rated him a little higher than Nurse. He doesn't have the fanciest of advanced metrics, but he has been a warrior for the Oilers this season, for better or worse. I'm one of Ceci's biggest critics, but I have liked his game this season. Cody Ceci has just been solid back there. And again, he's another one of those guys, he just does what he's asked. you know? And since Paul Coffey took over, I'm going to mention right now, all the defense have looked better. Mattias Ekholm, I only gave a B to Mattias Ekholm. He missed training camp due to an injury, and it took him a while to find his game. He has looked great since the coaching change, just like Darnell Nurse. He's quietly on pace for 40 points this season. Not a whole lot to complain about for Ekholm. Evan Bouchard, I gave an A-. Now, for a lot of people, you might be wondering why his rating is so high, but it is rare to find point-per-game defensemen. Despite struggles in his own end for a large portion of the season, I do like his game, and his game has been massively improved under Paul Coffey. Oilers are very lucky to have Bouchard. I think Bouchard does not get the credit that he deserves, so he gets an A-. He's the highest-rated D-man that I have. Brett Kulak, I gave a C-, and honestly, this probably could have been a D, but he's been one of the more disappointing players on the team this season. He has not really looked comfortable. He only has 2 points. He's a -8, which I think is worse on the team in terms of the defense core, and it has me thinking that he will be on Edmonton's trade block. He just hasn't looked great, in my opinion. Kulak has been disappointing. Vincent Desharnais, I gave a B+. I'm happy with the big man's improved play this season compared to what we saw in the playoffs last spring. Desharnais is not flashy, but he does a lot of good in the D zone. He struggles with outlet passes, but he plays a calm, steady game on the third pair. And as long as he's not playing more than 12 minutes a night, I'm happy with his game. Philip Broberg, this was kind of tough to actually fairly rate him because he doesn't play a lot. He's only played 10 games and he doesn't average a lot of ice time. I gave him a C-. He hasn't established himself as a full-time NHLer. I don't think he's looked particularly terrible in the 10 games that he's played, but it is clear the coaching staff is running with the other 6 guys until there's an injury. I think Broberg should be getting 20+ minutes a night in Bakersfield. Now for the goaltenders, Stuart Skinner, I gave a C-. He is 4-0-0 in the last 4 starts with a .931 save percentage. This is the only reason that he is not rated a D-. His game looks like it might be coming around. Jack Campbell, D-. He's showing life in Bakersfield. That's kind of the only note that I can give him because he hasn't been with the NHL club for a while. And Calvin Pickard, I put NA. Not really fair to give him a rating. He's only appeared in a couple games for Edmonton, only once as a starter. So we'll see. We'll see about Calvin Pickard moving forward. We'll see if the team makes a trade to get a goalie and send Picard down to the minors again, or if they'll recall Jack Campbell if he continues to play well in the AHL, which he has strung together a few games now in a row where he has played well. But until he can prove that he can play against NHL caliber talent and not AHL caliber talent, I don't have a whole lot of hope in Jack Campbell right now. But that's it for me, guys. These are my Oiler player grades at the quarter mark of the season. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did I rate anyone too high? Did I rate anyone too low? I really want to know what your thoughts are. Make sure you comment your thoughts. I read everything. Love interacting with you guys. You guys are the best. If you liked the video, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.